Hi, and thank you for joining me. This is Corrine Bigden with House Flip Forum, and this is the budget creation design plan section. So this is really a lot of fun. This is where we get to get our creative juices flowing and figure out what do we want to do to this property in order to make it really shine. So you've already decided that you've got a plan in mind of what kind of person is going to be your potential buyer, your avatar, the people that you think you're going to cater to when creating that new renovated property. You know that you want to have a certain number of bedrooms, bathrooms, all those sorts of things. So you want your renovation budget to really fall in line with all those changes that you're making. Set up your priority list. What are the things that are going to be the most important to your buyer, and how much will they cost? So this is your renovation is going to be on a budget, of course, that you have determined ahead of time based on the amount of money that you have to work with, what your lender has provided, and how much time it's going to take to complete everything so that you have the money set aside for your renovation, to pay all your trades. So you've got your materials and the cost of labor, as well as the amount of money you're going to need for all those holding costs, closing costs. So you got the soft costs, the hard costs, everything that you have budgeted will go into this decision. You know, there's a certain amount of money you're going to have to pay no matter what. You will have the costs of closing, and that won't change. You are going to have your marketing costs. If you're smart, you're going to put something aside for that. You will have the costs of the lender's fees. That's not going to change. So the only thing that you really have a huge amount of influence over when it comes to your costs are your renovations, your choices on what you're going to do and how much you're going to do. Your best friend is paint. We know that. So that will take you a very long way at the lowest cost possible. So that is something that you definitely want to budget for and put as much as you want to into the paint factor, because I think it's probably going to pay off no matter what. The other thing is the customer that you're looking at has certain needs and wants, and you know, based on their lifestyle, there are things that they will require. So is that parking? Well, you've determined that when you actually purchase the property, so there should be parking space available if that was a big key factor. If not, we don't have to worry about those things. So now we're looking at cosmetic items that are most influenced by your decision. There are things that you're going to have to do. If the furnace is shut down, it's broken down, you're going to have to put in a new furnace. If there's a wall that maybe is highly damaged that you're going to have to replace, or a ceiling, you know you have to do that. So you have to allot for those costs no matter what. The cosmetic items are the ones where you really have to decide what's most important to them. What are the main needs and wants is your priority list. Needs could be one column, wants could be another column, because the needs are always going to trump the wants. So put those together in a list, create your plan. If you've got people that can help you with this plan, maybe you've got that perfect potential buyer who may not be buying, but has all the same needs and wants, lives in the same area, they have the same age, career path, or the same family dynamics. Whatever they have in their demographics that really fit well with your potential buyer makes them a good person to kind of do some brainstorming with. So another one is a designer. If you've got a designer in your life that you want to kind of brainstorm with, perfect. They're great people to do that. You get your quotes together, you get those needs and wants together, you put together your renovation plan and your budget, and decide on what is, above all else, the most important. What will it cost? If you've got money left over, which you should always have a little bit of money left over, because there's always the unknowns. So try to keep a float available for those unexpected items that could come up. And how do you determine how much that will be? Well, it's determined by the cost of the property itself and the square footage of the property itself. But if you've got like a good 15 to 20,000 at least just as a float, that's probably a wise thing to do. And it could kind of allot for those things like a leaking roof or a leaking basement or appliances that break down. That's where your float will come in and kind of save the day for you if you never expected those sort of things to be in your budget. Finally, I've put together a bonus worksheet that's going to help you create your design plan based on all of the above that I've just talked about. So you can make your plan and execute it once you get the keys, and you'll have that plan decided so that you don't feel like you're going to waver and make changes as to what should or should not be done. You've already determined what needs to be done and what's the most important. If you've got extra money left over at the end, and there's those little things that you thought they weren't really necessary, but they would make a great impact, then consider putting those in at the end if you've got the time and the money. But those are those little things that you just don't want to put into your budget ahead of time, because those are the bonuses that could happen down the line. Thank you.